Call the Board of Selectmen's meeting to order on June 27, 2016. First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Before we begin, I'm going to turn the mic over to Selectman Bob Miller for a second.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We did have some recent good news within the past couple of weeks. Our Senator Brian Fatman and his wife Stephanie welcomed into the world a baby girl who's absolutely gorgeous, and we wanted to say on behalf of the board and all of us here that in Town Hall and some of the residents that congratulations are in order, and she is absolutely her eyes are, oh my God, she's beautiful. I'm saying that as a grandfather of a couple pretty girls too. So
again, congratulations.
Very gorgeous. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. First item on the agenda is the approval of regular session meeting minutes from Monday, March 21st, 2016.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from March 21st, 2016.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Courtney, pull the board.
Selectman Miller?
Have to abstain. I was not in office at that time.
Selectman Duggan?
Yes.
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Board?
Abstain. Next meeting minutes for regular meeting are Monday, April 25th, 2016.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from Monday, April 25th, 2016.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Courtney, pull the board.
Selectman Miller?
Have to abstain. I wasn't in office at that time. Thank you.
Selectman Duggan?
Yes.
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Board?
Yes. Next set of minutes is from Wednesday, May 25th, 2016.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of Wednesday, May 25th, 2016. I was here.
A second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any other discussion? Courtney, pull the board.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Duggan?
Yes.
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Abstain.
Chairman Board?
Abstain. And there are no executive session meeting minutes. Next item is Greg Vasal, the Town Hall Clock Tower Bell discussion. Is Greg?
Greg's
Please,
here.
Greg.
Before we do that, Mr. Chairman, I had a, please, Greg, I'm sorry, if you don't, may I?
No, go ahead.
Thank you. Through the chair, to the rest of the board, and to everyone out there, I had received a letter, and Courtney was kind enough to our secretary to call me up on it, and I brought it back and I read it, and it was by some of the residents, like evidently on the 4th floor of the building next door, Bill Sikowski building, and something about the clock, and evidently this has gone on before. From my understanding, somebody complained that, you know, all hours of the day and night, and I said, well, it's not up to me. So I had it presented to the board. If you've got a copy of that original letter that I think that I had received, I asked Courtney to make sure that the board had it. Since then, we got another letter. My whole problem with this, and Mr. Vasali will explain it to you probably better, is, you know, that clock is part of the town history. I don't know, is that a Howard?
No, it's a Seth Thomas.
It is a Seth Thomas.
It is a Seth
I thought it'd be
Thomas.
an Eddie Howard, but anyway, be that as it may, Greg has been kind enough to take care of it, and it was moved from the original Bartlett High School, which is on the other corner, and it was moved back over here, so that's where it's been and sat since 1928. Hasn't
27.
bothered anybody.
Yeah, 27.
28. I got the dedication book.
Well-
It was started in 1922, but be that as it may, I'm not
Okay,
going to argue the
but
point.
the clock's been
In place.
in this
I'm
within
talking the
100 yards.
dedication, Greg, don't argue with me.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to say it's been here for over 100 years
Oh,
already.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. and I think it's a part of Webster history, and God knows we ought to preserve some of the Webster history that we still have left, because a lot of it's gone. It is a landmark as far as I'm concerned, and Greg has been kind enough to be taking care of it for, I don't know how many years, Greg, but...
More than 15 years.
But it's, and thank you for that, by the
welcome.
way. And every once in a while, I'm sure you have to do some fine tuning to it because of the
I
age.
go up there when I'm in the downtown area, and sometimes at home, I hear something, I see something, and every Wednesday or Thursday, whatever, come time to pay my taxes, I check with the treasurer's office, not the treasurer's office, the
Accountant's office.
accountant's office. No, I'm talking your old office.
Yes, the accountant's office,
Okay,
my old, yes,
okay,
well,
yeah.
my,
And get the key, or if there's nobody there, I go to the town clerk's office, do what needs to be done, lock up and wait for the next issue.
Yeah, and once again, I thank you very much, and I know some people have complained that well, it rings at night and at 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever. It's done that for God knows how long, longer than I've been around, that's for sure.
That was the way the clock was made.
Exactly, exactly. And personally, this is only my own personal opinion, not the board's, but to even toy around with the idea of trying to muffle it, which you probably can't anyway, you could, maybe to a point, but you're not gonna quiet the clock. I mean, and again, if I'm going by at 2 o'clock in the morning, I wanna hear it ring too.
If I hear it ring at night, I'm happy I'm still able
No,
to
it's
hear it at
working
night.
right.
Okay?
And we appreciate that once again. But I just wanted to throw in my 2 cents, and I know there's been some other folks that have also, we did get a letter in our packet, and I'll turn it back over to the chair. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about the clock.
Well, the clock is a Seth Thomas, put up in 1904. It's the only Seth Thomas clock that was made without a serial number. It was made with no serial number for an unknown reason, but it has a dedication plaque on it to a Mr. Asa Bartlett, who apparently was an important figure in the town in the late 1800s. It was sold as a quarter striking clock, which means that it strikes on 4 bells every 15 minutes. If you've ever heard a Westminster chime clock, some places, we essentially have the same thing up there. There are not many in Massachusetts, okay? I can probably tell you where there's one in Cambridge I haven't seen. There's one in Newton at the Unitarian Church, I believe it's Newton. There's one in the town of Ware, okay? There's one here in Webster, and I'm still looking for the rest of them, but there are not many. It is capable of striking at quarter hours, 24 hours a day, but we have it set because there is a shut-off for the quarter striking for basically daylight hours till, you know, mid-evening, I think 10 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock, that shuts down. Now, as long as nobody goes up there and rearranges something without understanding what dial they're turning, it will work that way until, you know, it falls apart, which I'm going to try and prevent. The hour counting, of course, is a 24-hour. There was never a provision made to shut that clock off from counting the hours. And so at 1 o'clock in the morning, it rings once. At 2 o'clock, it rings twice, and so on and so forth. And that's what it was designed to do.
So in any way, shape, or form, can it be stopped from ringing the night hours? No.
You could, but it's going to cost money.
Okay.
Okay, and what I mean by cost money is probably, well, it would need a motor to do it, because the simplest thing is to lift the striking lever off the great wheel on the strike train. And it needs to be a hefty motor. It has to have a timer. It has to have a crank arm built, all these things, okay? And it adds up to, you know, more than a couple $100, all right? Envisioning that I might get asked a question like this, it is possible, all right, but it depends on how much you want to spend, all right? I might add that I work with an electrician who also works for the sewer department from LaFleur Electric. And he and I have had a conversation about this last week after Pamela called me. I said, you know, we might have something that we have to address. Are you willing to help me out with it? He said, yeah, why not? Okay, so there is a possibility, all right? I'll guarantee you it's going to be more than $1,000, okay? It might be more than $2,000, all right? Because there's a lot of stuff you have to do. You have to have stuff fabricated too. You just don't go into Gatsby's and buy a night shut-off,
Right.
okay?
Well, Mr. Chairman, well, it's almost like anything else. If you live near the railroad tracks, you're gonna hear the train.
Yes.
If you live near a busy street, you're gonna hear the cars and the trucks. But to me, this is, why throw money at something when
Well, I agree.
it's here,
Yeah, I agree.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think hundreds, if not thousands of people enjoy it. It is a piece of Webster.
Right.
If it's that noisy, quite frankly, close the windows. That's the only remedy I have. But I mean, why start throwing money at something that's been there longer than all of us? I
Yeah.
would gander to say, am I right, Mr. Dugevich?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when, I didn't live here as a kid, but when we were kids, the church bells rang so many times, you had to go
Exactly.
home, the street lights came on,
Yep.
you had to go home, that
Yep.
type of thing. I mean,
Absolutely.
everyone has cell phones now, but it's just one of those
Absolutely.
nostalgic type things. Any questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, if I could, Mr. Vasali, could you please address the notion, this came up after the change in time, the time change, and the folks over there, the residents over at the senior housing, swore that we increased the
No,
volume.
no.
So can you address that?
Well, the clock has not been altered in any way except for electrification, all right? We've had a problem where, for a short period of time, a few years ago, when a rubber mat was put in on the very top floor, they didn't put any piping to let the chains go through. For a period of time, it was silent, but I addressed that probably more than 2 years ago. Certainly before the senior housing became filled. The period before that, from probably around 2004, maybe even earlier, the clock was striking on the hours and striking on the quarter hours, okay? So it would, you know, give us the fancy show in the daylight hours and give us the, you know, the evening tolling through the night.
Used to have that at Dudley Hill Church too, I think.
Dudley has a clock which strikes the hours only,
Yeah.
all right? And I have seen that, and there is nothing on there to prevent it from silencing its bell, all right? It strikes all day, all night.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
Yeah, hang on
well,
one
I just
second,
have one
okay?
question. No, I look at it all the time, but I don't pay attention to it because it's just there. But I'm assuming it's in the enclosed area, the sound.
It's right behind the dials, but the
Okay.
bells are way up on top.
All right,
And
are
they're
they
they're
enclosed?
plastic covering those louvers.
Okay, so how about if we just put a piece of plexiglass on the louvers that face the Sikowskis?
They're already there.
Oh, and they're still compliant?
It's already covered with plastic. Plexiglass wouldn't do much.
Questions or comments from the board?
Just the quarter hour, so it is striking on the quarter hour today?
During the day, I believe.
day.
Only
During
during
the
the day,
day.
and that stops at what time?
I think 10 o'clock at night,
Okay.
I think. All right. I could be wrong, it could be 11, but, you know, it's certainly not through the night. And there was one time where I did hear it at night when I get home, which was after 11 o'clock, and as soon as I could get back to the town hall, all right, on the following day, I came down and I spun that wheel to reset the night shut-off for the chiming.
Ma'am, you can come up, ma'am. Ma'am, you can come up and speak. It's not a public hearing. But you're more than welcome to come up. And just for the record, let Courtney know your name.
I'm Barbara Steiger, apartment 227 at the Zatowski Apartments.
Sure, have a seat. Watch the court.
I just wanted to say that there are so many residents who enjoy the bells. I've brought 3 other ladies with me. Your mother enjoys the bells. And we were asked to sign a petition, and some of them felt intimidated. And the rest were just, no, we're not going to sign it. We love the bells. Just so you know, it's not everybody there. I'm 4th floor facing the bells, and I love them. All right? That's it.
Super.
Thank you so much. Any other questions for?
I know you didn't ask me this, but there's several churches in various places across the state and other things that I go to and do quarterly service on them. And I know that when people don't hear a bell, they call either the church or they call the town hall and say what's happened. The bell didn't ring.
You're right, you got
All
a
right.
point.
So it's not a negative situation to have something like this. And I might add, this clock up there, even with the slight bit of modifications had, is the oldest working piece of machinery of any kind that we have in this town, all right? The pumping station is older, but you don't use a steam engine anymore, okay? It's there, nobody sees it, all right? This, people walk by every day. I make sure that the lights burn all the time. If I see a light bulb out, I go and change it, all right? And I try to make sure that it does its job and does its job as well as it can.
Mr. Chairman, just a question. Speaking of churches, the ones in town, does someone know when they strike? St. Joe's, Sacred Heart?
12 and 6.
St. Louis is the only one I'm familiar with. They have an electronic carol on. So before Mass every Sunday or Saturday evening it does. And I believe they do noontime every day. They may do an evening.
6 o'clock.
I do work for one church which has a mechanical Angelus, and it's 6 in the morning, noontime, and 6 at night, if I remember right. Okay, but that's out
They
in
don't
the
strike
western
on the
part
hour,
of
I'm
the state.
sorry. I'll wait for Mr. Chairman to recognize someone else.
Yes, Loretta.
The basic thing, why I put my hand up now, is that there are 6 churches. Now, the other 5 churches, including the Baptist Church, all have bells, and the United Church of Christ Federated has bells. And as this has spread, that there's a petition in there, people are concerned, not just pastors, first the people in the congregation. I can tell you that Sacred Heart, St. Joe's, and not St. Louis, but Sacred Heart and St. Joseph's Basilica, they strike on 6 a.m., 12 noon for the Angelus, to go backwards, 10 a.m. in the morning if there's a funeral, or 11 a.m. to peel out the good news, and also 6 p.m. at night for matins. So that's the full spectrum. And the Baptist Church has refurbished their bells and chimes. It's part electronic, part old bells that they found. They were the oldest church in town, even before St. Louis. And their bell schedule is 7 o'clock in the morning and during special hours, and 9 o'clock in the morning and 12 noon and 6 p.m. on Sundays is their new schedule with the refurbished ones. So we're a joyful town, and I don't know, a quote just came to my mind, and I'm not piggybacking on, but agreeing with Mr. Miller. But the life of the dead is placed in the memory of the living And whether it's an ordinary person and the bells are pealing in our town hall for veterans or any of the churches, it's an ancient means of communication. And for here, Webster has taken the wonderful opportunity for 102 years to communicate and unite people and bring out the good news and the bad news. But I guess what I'm most concerned about as a senior, I'll be 73 in August, and Lord willing, is we have a council on aging. And perhaps it's certainly their right to the residents to bring things directly to the selectmen, but certainly couldn't we have bend your elderflowers and use the mechanism that is structurally there, and if they had brought it to President Sam Wally, it would have been on the June agenda or the May agenda whenever they had that concern. And certainly it might be your pleasure tonight, instead of voting on this one way or another, to refer it back to the Council on Aging and then come up with a report from the residents. And we don't want to see any more disunity. The interesting thing that I would think with we're in a commonwealth and here for a common good is that we think of others as seniors and think of the town folk as well as, and we don't want another schism between, which we've had in the recent past, between town folk and people that live in other geographic locations. That's still in the process of healing. And I remember not too long ago discussing, even though it's a little different piece, but when Waterfront Mary's, the neighbors complained, and we resolved it twice, the selectmen did, is where did you think you were moving? You know,
Well,
you're
right, I
moving
got a
to the
question.
back of the town hall. You know, so
Great, yeah,
maybe,
great talk.
okay, maybe just
Who
one.
made the complaint?
We
That's
had,
what I'm-
15 people, I understand.
the
Are they
original is
here?
downstairs. I don't believe any of those residents are here.
And we have
So
some
why are we even
seniors that are
discussing this?
in
Because it was
town
on the
here
agenda,
tonight,
Mark.
too.
At the last meeting, we said we would take it up.
All right, well, no one's here, so let's pass. Let's
Okay.
move on. There's no need to discuss this.
Okay.
No. But before she gets into it too much,
No,
I just wanted to say also, Loretta, there is a little church in Hopedale, Sacred Heart, that God forbid on a funeral and you're 102 years old, they ring that bell 102 times.
Good. They should.
That's
Whatever the
true.
person's age is, that's how many
Yes.
times they ring it.
I just want to
Billy
say one
Kinnicky's
last
church.
closing thing, is they're living in Sitkowski Apartments. And I just kind of like to take a moment of silence here to remember Ed Sitkowski.
Oh, younger.
And if he and his soul and Wanda's soul were here tonight, what would they think? We want the joy of the bells. A bell is no bell till you ring it. And it has to be rung in continuous communication. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Loretta.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? So, no one's here from the complainant, so we will move on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
Greg.
welcome, anytime.
Gentlemen, just Mr. Vasali, he's got out of work specifically to come here, and has to run back, so we appreciate.
it so much.
And we
everything
appreciate
you
the
do.
time he spends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
we appreciate the
We
time he
agree.
spends. He never submits a bill. I have to beg him to even be reimbursed for materials, so he's a wonderful, wonderful person.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And I have a Howard 70 if you want to look at it.
Next item on the agenda is the Polish American Citizens Club, change of manager and new officers and directors.
Mr. Chairman, I'll have to recuse myself, same reason as before. Thank you.
Solely noted. Courtney, everything's in order?
We have
Everything? Any questions from the board?
I reviewed everything, everything looks in order. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve. Any other discussion?
So are we voting on, all right, so the change of managers and directors, so,
Say what?
yeah, I'm all
Change
set.
of manager.
Oh, okay, yeah. Courtney, poll the board?
Selectman Begich?
Yes.
Selectman Golden?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Ford?
Yes. Good luck,
Thank you.
and thank you so much. Next item on the agenda is Kenny Pizzetti, FY17 Chapter 90 update.
Mr. Chairman, good evening. Gentlemen, I just wanted to, as usual, when we get into this season for road work, we usually give an update, so that is what we'd like to do tonight. And the sheet in front of you kind of lays out, as far as the 2016 pavement management program, where certain sections and roadways in town is where we're looking to go. If you can see, mainly the front cover sheet, there's a breakdown of our Chapter 90 money. And that is kind of where we're sitting, as you can see, at the end, where we look at the end of the season. We are above Mass Highway. Mass Highway talks to its towns and cities. They always recommend at least 25% of your budget to remain at the end of the season. That's their recommendation, 23 to 25%. We are above that, which we've been for a while, which is good news. And sometimes if something ever happened, we would have that ability to move. At the same time, every governor seemed to be different. Governor Patrick, sometimes the money was there, but sometimes they seem to have arguments over that. So you got your letter in April, but you didn't get any of your allotment until like July. So that is where they've been over the last couple of years in recommendations. And you can see, like I said, is that whole breakdown, which is there. It's about an average, it's an average this year. We average around probably between 8 and 10 miles of roadway preservation each year, from resurfacing to preservation, crack sealing. Those three asphalt terminations has been really the main focus of a lot of cities and towns in the Commonwealth. So that's pretty much, to sum it up, where we're kind of looking at for this season to go.
And
There is a,
just to be, I apologize.
yeah, no,
Just to be clear, these roads aren't pulled out of a hat. This is part of our pavement management program that
Right.
is also funded through Chapter 90. It's a program that we've had for a number of years now, and we continue to update it, and it actually spits out those roads and what they recommend for maintenance or anything else, like crack seal, you know, rather than a full overlay or this or that. This also breaks down our contract items, and then also our highway overlay. These are the actual streets that our own highway department
right,
is
the
going to be
smaller
doing.
ones, right.
So,
Any questions from the board for Mr. Pizzetti?
this also includes, at the end, you see a quote from MHQ. The town of Webster has historically funded major road-related purchases of equipment out of Chapter 90. We plan for this.
Right.
You know, we would never bring our allotment down below a level where we're comfortable in order to do something like this. In this case, Mr. Pizzetti has been going back and forth between a truck and the sweeper. He has determined, based on costs related to the upkeep and maintenance of this particular piece of equipment, the age of it, that this is where we should go this year, is to replace this sweeper.
Just out of curiosity, how old is the Elgin current
It's an
sweeper?
04, so it's 12 years old, Mr. Becker, today, so.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Pizzetti, now, we had a conversation on this, and it's a couple years basically out of its total lifespan. And
Yeah.
right now, it's
Yeah,
virtually a money pit. So
Right.
if you Band-Aid it, you're probably talking about $20,000 a pop just
Right.
to Band-Aid it, which, and there'd be no guarantee. Isn't
Right.
there something in there now where you can't even get a part for it? You have to pack it with grease
Right.
or
This,
just to get
this,
it to go?
this machine, which is a sweeper, is.
It's done what it has
It's
to
done,
do.
yeah. It was basically made as a 10-year vehicle at that point in '04. They were made out of solid metal, which today it's different. It's, a lot of aluminum, it's a lot of stainless steel. And unfortunately, like I said, we had to look at our avenues, what we needed more than, the truck is shortly to be, again, in the same area, but this is an item that we need. We're down 75% of our sweeping program is down right now because we're just trying to get it, to just travel through some of the main roads, obviously, like many cities and towns do. So that was our decision why we want to go that way.
Questions on the board?
Does this require a vote, or is it just an update?
It's an update.
Right, which we do every year, yep.
We just want to
We'd
make
like
the board
We'd like
aware.
everybody to know, yep.
And if you have any concerns, please let us know, or
Right.
otherwise we'll go forward.
Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Just one thing, were you gonna plan on any type of truck?
Excuse me?
You're gonna plan on any type of truck?
Yeah, well, we'll get through this season.
First,
I mean,
get that.
right, with this, and then we'll see what the road program, it does it at the beginning, it does it at the end, the formula, and then we'll look where we are. I mean, it's unfortunate that when I got here, a lot of these vehicles were older. This goes way back to Mr. Wackowiak when he was here. And prior to him retiring, that fleet was so bad, you'll see a lot of them that they bought one after another. So that 20-year lifespan comes up fast for these type of vehicles that do that type of work, especially the winter is the biggest load with these things. So we take great pride in what we have, what the townspeople gave us, and that means a lot to me too. So the guys do a great job of maintaining these things. It's just unfortunate, this type of field, we're not the only city or town that goes this way now.
Right.
A lot of capital plans, they're not funding that no more. I
And,
think,
right, and the state in Chapter
Right.
90 program
Is-
recognize that,
Right.
and there are certain, there is a list of road-related items that you can purchase
Right.
from your Chapter 90 funds, and that's the state's recognition of that fact, so.
If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Chairman, I think only on a truck, the only thing would be town meeting approval for a plow.
yeah,
Other-
towards
I mean,
the,
really,
right,
you know.
towards the plow trucks, that
Yeah.
would be the only thing they look at the towns and say, well, we'll build you everything, but you have to buy your own
Yeah,
plow.
we'll buy your own.
It's- For some reason, that's how they look at it.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank
All
you.
right, appreciate that, thank you.
Thank you. Next item is TED inspectional services fees.
Okay, so, Mr. Chairman, I spoke with the building commissioner, and I just wanted to, at this point, we'll put it on the July 11th agenda, if that's okay with the chairman. Just to remind everyone, this isn't a surprise. During the budget time, I made it very clear when we were going through the budget that one of those changes in the budget was that we removed the part-time inspectors, their stipends, from the inspectional services budget. And under the continue or create revolving funds, we created an inspectional services revolving fund, which will pay our inspectors per inspection, which will be a fee, a per inspection fee that will be added on to the town, what we receive as a permit fee. We are not looking to raise our permit fees. The town is not looking to raise our fees. However, there will be built into that inspection fees, and that is how our inspectors will then be paid. There is more accountability there. There's more transparency there, the buzzwords. Our inspectors, in order to be paid for these inspections, will need to provide me with a log of all of their inspections. It will need to be recorded, addresses, inspections were done, signed off on, all of that. It also provides the homeowners with a way to control their contractors if there's an issue. Built into an electrical permit, let's say there may be 2 inspections. a middle inspection and an end inspection. So that will be built in and collected at the time that the permit is pulled. If your electrical contractor may not be doing the job in a way that the electrical inspector feels it should be done, and additional inspections are needed, well, they're going to require additional inspection fees, which will then, of course, be probably passed on to the homeowner, and they'll want to know, well, why did I need an additional inspection? It's just a way to, this is a way, our electricians and our plumbers who do work here in town are not going to be surprised by this. This is how other communities around us are doing business. So this isn't something different, new and different.
So which we'll discuss at our next meeting in July.
We will
but
have-
The town is not generating.
That is correct. We are not looking to raise our fees. We are not looking to raise our permit fees. What this is a per inspection fee. In order to pay our part-time inspectors, who used to be paid a stipend, no matter how many inspections they did annually. So this is a way for accountability. They are paid per inspection. And again, we will have for you in your packet, so you can review, or even before then, the proposal of what that per inspection fee will be and what it will mean for individuals who utilize this service, if you will. They'll be paying for a service that they use, and that's how we'll approach this. So we'll talk about it more, and I'll have the building commissioner here too, and our electrical inspector and our plumbing inspector.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Next item is the acting town administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Under departmental updates and announcements, the compost facility and transfer station. The compost and transfer station facilities will be closed on Saturday, July 2nd. The compost facility will open on Saturday the 9th and Saturday the 16th during the month of July. The senior center. The senior center's new hours of operation, effective Tuesday, July 5th, will be Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Hot lunches will continue to be served Tuesday through Thursday, with a new soup and sandwich offering on Fridays. The director and her staff are working diligently on additional programs, events, and services we expect to implement during the summer months. Independence Day fireworks display is scheduled for Friday, July 1st, this Friday at Memorial Beach. Gates will open at noon, and the price of admission is $10 per vehicle and $2 per walk-in. The Summer Concert Series, the Recreation Committee's 2016 Summer Concert Series will kick off on Wednesday, July 6th, with a performance by Beatles for Sale. Beatles for Sale is an award-winning New England-based Beatles tribute band that is committed to recreating the sounds of the Beatles live in concert. Concerts are held at the French River Park on Wednesday evenings from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m., and the concert venue this year will be moved to the Senior Center during inclement weather. We used to come in here into the auditorium, but we're going to be moving our library over very soon, so we're going to be utilizing our new facility, the Senior Center. Under action items I have for you gentlemen, I have included, attached to my acting town administrator's report, some correspondence we received regarding Waterfront Mary's, one from the proprietor of Waterfront Mary's and a couple from some residents. I'm looking to you to tell me what you wish to do. I don't know if you'd like to hold a neighborhood meeting, if you'd like to hold a public hearing in this type of setting, or what you would like to do, but I think all parties need to be in a room together to discuss these issues. There was concern this past week. I received a phone call from at least one concerned resident this morning regarding Wednesday evening's Rock the Dock. There was not a police officer present. The establishment requested a detail, as she's supposed to do. She did what she's supposed to do. We were not able to fill the detail, okay? And again, Friday was her first 100.1 beach party that this board approved, one a month. That, again, was emailed over to the police department, and unfortunately, there was a breakdown in communication, a mistake, and the information was not given to the individual who schedules the details, so a detail was not present. However, it was requested by the establishment, so I want to be clear about that. Ms. Lees is doing what she's supposed to do. So unfortunately, we do have sometimes issues with filling details. We've run into that issue down at the beach on weekends. We request, but unfortunately, they're not able to be filled. So I just want to make that clear. So I'll look to you, if you don't want to let me know tonight, if you just want to let me know at some point how you wish to handle
Can we
this.
put it on the agenda for the next meeting?
I can put it on the agenda. Would you like it to be a public hearing, Mr. Chairman?
Can we do 6:30?
Sure, whatever you want, Mr. Chairman.
6:30.
Okay, 6:30 public hearing. We'll make sure of that. Thank you. Under Mass Organic Therapy, I have attached an email and correspondence. I was able to speak with a few of you, but not all of you. I received a phone call from DPH. They're reviewing Mass Organic Therapy's application and to finalize it. And I was asked if the Board of Selectmen received formal notification that this processing facility was going to be servicing more than one location and what those locations would be. My answer to that was no, because we never received any formal written notification. What was presented to us was that it was their intent to service more than one location, but this board never received that formal notification, so I was unable to provide them with anything. I explained to them that it was my understanding that this board is very supportive of this endeavor. However, as long as they made it perfectly clear that their retail locations, they are not interested in having a retail location located here in Webster. So what DPH, I asked them what we could do on behalf of Mass Organic to move them forward in the process, and all they said was that they would require a letter from me on your behalf stating that the board is aware that this particular location will be servicing more than one retail location not located in the town of Webster.
Outside of Webster.
Okay, so does the board have an issue with that, with me drafting a letter to that effect and sending it to DPH?
I don't have it.
Not at all.
Okay, all right, so I will go ahead and do that, thank you.
Just as a point of interest through the chair, I think past boards have voted on that twice and were very explicit as to no retail dispensaries, shall you say,
Here in Webster.
town.
It only actually, according to our host agreement, it actually benefits us when it comes time to negotiating the renewal of that contract. If they're servicing, 5 different locations and have built out to the max, that's going to help us in the renegotiation, so. And then the only other thing I did attach was the MOA between the town of Webster, and we will talk about that in executive session, and the DPW unit.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Courtney, pull the board.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Degger?
Yes.
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Ford?
Yes. Old business. New business. Bryden Enterprises LLC, DBA Capellini's, special act of legislation, all alcohol license approved at June 6, 2016 annual town meeting.
So town meeting gave the board the
Right.
authorization to seek the approval of an additional liquor license with the legislature. So we need a vote of the board, and Courtney will send off the letter.
But we do have a copy of the letter for the board to sign.
I'll make a motion that we submit a letter to the legislature petitioning one new liquor license.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Courtney, pull the board.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Degger?
Yes.
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Ford?
Yes. So you need 2 original signed, not 3? Also on the new business, which it's just something that I wanted to bring up, that maybe we can talk about at our next meeting, is that I've heard of other towns, and at their Board of Selectmen's meeting, having or encouraging up-to-date businesses in town to come in and give a 2 or 3 minute presentation on their business. I think it might be a good idea on our behalf, that we can potentially do it. It's something that we would have to iron out, but it's just a way of us, you know, bringing in new business, encouraging new business, giving them, you know, TV time. And what is it? Greg, what is it, YouTube or Google, whatever, that you put this thing on? YouTube. YouTube time. So it's something that maybe we can put on the next agenda
Promote our
and
local
discuss, so we can
businesses.
promote small and large business.
Yep.
That's local business.
That's our tax base. I agree with you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other new business?
We just had a letter of interest on planning, just an inquiry, actually,
But,
from Sharon Wright, I hope I'm saying it right, from Hall Road, just showing some interest to be active on the, as an associate member of the Town of Webster Planning Board. I don't know if you guys could.
do we have anything open on that?
Yes, we have 2 alternate members
Oh, I do.
open.
So can we have her come in at our next meeting?
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. We can send her a note or give her a buzz. Thank you, Phil.
Informational mail?
Mr. Chairman, in our package, we have a complaint of a constable, and I just don't know if this is a constable that's appointed in Webster by the board. And I believe there's a process that we have to follow.
Why don't we hand it over to the police department, have them look into it and see if this allegation's true, and then we'll take action.
Yeah, and I guess I was looking to find out whether or not it was Webster or the town that this was alleged to have occurred in,
Right.
to contact that police department as well. Do we need a motion in that regard, or
Once you-
I
the
would
acting
say
town
yes.
administrator will take care of it?
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
take care of it. We'll take care of it.
All right, any other informational mail? Executive session, we will be going into executive session, we will not be returning live. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiation with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, SEIU vote 88 DPW Union MOA.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded.
And just to be clear, you will be coming back
Back
into
into
open
it.
session, however,
Not
not
live.
televised.
Right.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Jordan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Boyd?
Yes.